Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today is something that I'm pretty much getting into again that I've done in the past, but not to the extent that I knew a whole bunch about it before or where I wanted to learn more about it. But like I said, I feel like I am more of a minimalist hunter. I like having just what it takes. It's just a cool feeling to know that it's kind of more of a challenge to do it a certain way. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Traditions Buckstalker. It is a break action muzzleloader, inline muzzleloader. Has a button kind of in front of the trigger guard. Just press, breaks open. And then it has a breech plug that of course you put a 209 primer in. 209 primers are very, very hard to find right now. There are also a lot of sites that I have to warn you about, like Anchor Armor or Armor Anchor and other sites that are telling you that you have to have a minimum of $200 purchase to be able to get the products shipped and whatever else, and people aren't getting anything because they're scam sites. I don't know the names of all of them, but I would strongly advise you to only use sites that you're going to be spending a lot of money on right now for ammo products that allow you to use possibly a PayPal, because you're covered if it is a scam and things like that. Also, there are people on YouTube talking about sites that are credible to buy ammo, primers, reloading supplies, black powder supplies from, and that's what I would suggest that you give a shot. But this gun, I see a lot of people hunting with them, like on YouTube, specific YouTube channels and things like that, and it advertises that, you know, it does great at 200 yards. So I figured I'd, you know, buy one and give it a shot. I think before taxes it was $196, I think, and then after taxes it was $206. Like I said, it is tapped for a scope mount, which I did buy the scope bases for. This is them. I think I paid $7 for these at my local farm and home store. They're labeled Traditions. I did do a little bit of research. These will fit on this gun, and I'm kind of torn at this moment as to what scope to put on it, and I will be posting groups of all these different types of ammo that I can get my hands on at 50 and 100 yards in a later video, so y'all get to see that and have a better idea of what this gun will do. So the breech plug comes with a tool if you want to super tighten it in there, which there is no need. I just get its hand snug, and I've shot it 3 times already. It shoots great with open sights, and I was thinking about actually hunting with open sights here, starting on Christmas all the way to the January 4th, because I have a buck tag left that I want to fill. And I was thinking about doing it with open sights, just to do it. You know, I haven't killed very many deer with open sights, and it's always, you know, a challenge to do that. So I figured I might give that a shot before installing a scope on it. I think that this is like a 440C stainless breech plug, which is really cool. It's quality, and the gun is Cerakoted. I love Cerakote. It's definitely handles the weather very well. But it does come off really easy. If you get breech plug cleaners, which is what these are, I've already used a few of them, and I gave some to one of my buddies too, and these work very well. They're a different company that makes them. You just run it through the breech opening back here, pull it back and forth a few times, and that should clean it pretty well. I would do that. I recommend doing it every cleaning the breech plug every 5 shots or so. And then also, if you get a brush, like a light wire brush maybe, or something to scrape off the front of the breech plug, that helps also. I also take this out when I run my dry patch. I normally push my rod through the barrel, my cleaning rod, then attach my dry patch to the front and pull it through. There is some controversy as to, some people think that it's best if you pull the patch through from back to front. That way the patch is moving the same direction the bullet would be moving. But then you get breech plug grease on your patch and get that down your rifling, and I don't think that's a good idea. So I push my cleaning rod through the breech and come out the muzzle, attach my dry patch, pull it through one time, every 2 shots to do that to make sure that I'm getting the best possible groups that I can. And if you want to make it even better, I know that it does make your accuracy a lot better to go ahead and clean it after every shot. It's not very hard to run a dry patch through the muzzle and then reload and take another shot. And then of course every 5 shots to make sure you're cleaning your breech plug. So whenever I got this gun, the rear sight was bottomed all the way out, which means it was slid all the way to the back, so I was shooting low at 25 yards, but I moved it up some, and now I'm completely dead on bullseye at 25 yards. I'm not planning right now on shooting any further than 50 yards because I don't have that opportunity from the stand that I'm going to be hunting. So this should be fine. I do like to have a scope because I like to be able to see better, and also like to use it as kind of like a spotting glass to be able to see what's coming, how many points it has, and whatever. But that's, like I said, something I'll be trying later on, possibly after deer season. I'll put these on and install a scope. So the gun also has nice good steel sling studs installed already, and they are steel metal for sure, but I would consider them they are definitely steel, I would say. It does also have a fire button here, but I don't see a need to use that, so I just leave the button on fire because I rely on the hammer to tell me when I'm on fire and when I'm not. And if I want to, of course, put it back on safety, I hold down the hammer while I squeeze the trigger and slowly let the hammer go forward. And it doesn't get any safer than that in my book. The ramrod is metal. Yes, it's probably possibly aluminum, but it could be steel also. It's a bit cold, so I would say probably steel. Comes apart like this, and then this part here screws into the back of this part, and it makes it long enough to seat the bullet. So it gives you another about 2.5 inches when you do that. And of course, you're going to want to have a bullet starter because the barrel does get smaller towards the end, so the bullet can get a hold of the rifling better. And so starting the bullet is always the hardest part. There's the one that I bought is made by a company called Allen, and the model is Thundercloud. They have a great deal of muzzleloader accessories shaped like a black ball. It has a short starter on one side and a longer starter on the other side. So you start with the shorter part, maybe 1 inch long. You get the bullet in past the muzzle, and use the longer one to get it another 4 inches in, and then you'll go ahead and use this. It's a bit of a process, but it's definitely worth it. And shooting a muzzleloader is very fun. So I would recommend that to anybody who's wanting to get into something new, possibly give yourself a bit of a challenge. This is a 50 caliber muzzleloader, but since you're using a sabot, or it is the little plastic deal here that the bullet actually sits in, which is called the sabot. This is the bullet because it's called the slug or the bullet. It is actually .430 caliber on this one. These here are 40.45 caliber, and so on. So you're actually not shooting a 50 caliber bullet, which is fine by me. I mean, it's still considered a 50 caliber gun. Another thing I didn't know how I'd feel about on this specific gun is the recoil pad is hard like a brick. It is rubber. It has a little bit of bounce to it, but as far as it giving you any relief from the recoil of a muzzleloader, which by the way has a lot of recoil, actually isn't that bad. The weight of this gun is enough to make it so it's definitely manageable to shoot. I wouldn't recommend a child to shoot it. Maybe this depends on their size, how big they are. Maybe a 10-year-old could handle it. I'm not sure. The length of pull is probably, I would say, 13 inches on this gun. The trigger is also very, very nice. I'm very impressed with the gun. Like I said, I've only shot it 3 times, and that's just because I didn't have a lot of time to really be out there doing it. Also, was only able to get one of these at the time, so I only shot the 3 shots out of it. But this is 100. Primers are just really hard to come by right now. As far as powder, from my experiences before, I've used white hot. I've also used these pre-measured solid pellets, kind of like these here, but they were blue, kind of a light blue color. I forget what they're called. I've used also Pyrodex P, which is for a pistol, but I've used that powder to shoot out of a muzzleloader, a full-sized muzzleloader rifle. And my favorite thing so far, and I've also used normal muzzleloader Pyrodex, but it really stinks, and it's not as good. It's not really all that good for your barrel. So I recommend the 777 by Hodgdon. So you can get it in a, let's see how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's basically, it's 3 shots. I like to use 100 grains of powder per shot. You can go up to 150, maybe even more. I'm not quite sure about that, but 100 is definitely enough, and that way you're also conserving powder, and you could possibly move up to more of a magnum powder load, which would be 150 grains if you're going to be shooting further, or if you're shooting at a heavier, or like a bigger game like elk or moose. So you get basically 12 shots out of one of these. So there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, this was about $14, $15, and since I'm not going to be shooting it all that much, it's not really that bad of an expense for me. I also got a few of these. These are $30-ish, and you get 100 pellets, which for me equals out to 50 shots. So 50 shots for $30. It's really not that bad. I think these were about $9. These were $10. These were actually about $6. These are called Thompson Center Cheap Shot solid lead bullet that has a hollow point. I think would do great on deer. I've looked at a few reviews on them that I can find. Seems like they're a good choice, and they're 240 grain. And like I said, I'm not going to be really shooting past 50, 75. I don't even know if I'll ever shoot at 100 yards besides at the range. So, going the cheap route, I don't think is a bad choice, especially since people have been killing deer with solid lead bullets since the beginning of time. And these are hollow point, and they're 240 grain. But I will make a review on which one of these bullets groups the best in a video in the future, hopefully very soon. I got a few different types. I have the ones that are basically the same as those cheap shots. They're a 240 grain bullet that are a hollow point. These are by Traditions called TPF Hunter. They're a jacketed hollow point. Kind of looks like it's just copper painted over the lead some type of way. I don't know how they did it. It doesn't look like the copper is very thick. So it advertises superb accuracy, terminal energy for penetration, balanced expansion, and excellent value. These were a great value. So like I said, since there is a lot of this stuff to choose from right now, just get a few different things and find which one groups the best, and also do some research to see which one does a better job on deer if that's what you're going to be hunting, and go from there. So also, I mean, I have some other all of these I think are 240 grain, except for these are 250. These are 350 grain. I don't know if I'll actually ever use these, besides if I'm going to be sitting in a stand where I know that I'm only going to be shooting not very far, because I'm afraid of like unexpected bullet drop. But I hear they're pretty good, so I'm going to give them a shot and continue to try more things with this gun. I feel like this is going to be a lot of videos on this because it's something that I'm very interested in, and I feel like there's a lot of questions that y'all as viewers will have. that can be answered with further videos, especially once there are groups at 50 yards and 100 yards and so forth. So until then, I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to this video. So anyways, thank you for listening, and I hope that I answered one of y'all's questions, or maybe more than one of y'all's questions. And thank you for watching. As always, like and subscribe. If there is a notification bell, you should definitely hit it. Until then, have a nice day, Merry Christmas, and God bless.